We are going to get into a brief discussion for just a moment. We have been talking about finances. Last week, we concentrated on Deuteronomy 8 and 18. Remember the Lord your God, for it is he that gives you power. That word power there is the ability to get wealth. We recognize that's an Old Testament scripture, and that's all right. But I want you to focus in on the fact that because we are brought into the covenant with Abraham, it applies to us as well. We found that in Galatians. So bring it to me. So I want you to go kind of with me to chapter 26 of Isaiah. We're going to start there. Now, I'm not talking about giving this morning. I don't want your money. Well, I do want your money, but I don't want your money. The church needs your money. I don't want your money. I'm not asking for your money right now. I'm not doing that. I'm not teaching this to appeal for your finances. I'm teaching this so that when you step into 2022, you will have a scriptural basis by which to operate even in the financial realm. The Bible says, I wish above all things that you prosper in all things. That's 3 John 2. Prosper in all things. So we know that prosperity cannot just be money. Prosperity has to be success in every area of life, and that does include your finances. And so in Isaiah chapter 26, verse 3 and 4, this is the basis for our brief teaching this morning. I only have about 10 minutes to do this. You will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you. Now, that's where we usually start, but I'm going to back it up and say, I'm gonna back up and start with verse, the last part of that verse, because he trusts in you. I'm going to start with verse 4. Trust in the Lord forever. And then go to verse 3. He will keep you in perfect peace. Trust in the Lord forever. Trust in the Lord forever. Believe it or not, your total financial dilemma has to do with one word, whether it's good or bad. Your total situation with finances has to do with one word. It is the word trust. It is the word trust. And because I don't have time to go through all the scriptures, give me slide number 2. These are the scriptures that I want you to study this week. Isaiah 26, verses 3 through 4. You can see it on the screen. Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6. Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Again, that's Isaiah 26, 3 through 4. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And we already know what Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 already says. It says, trust in the Lord and lean not to your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. Trust in the Lord and lean not to your own understanding. Let's go to the second set of scriptures. And we actually know what Philippians 4, 6, and 7 says. Be anxious for nothing. We actually know that one. But I also want you to write these scriptures down. 1 Peter 5 and 7, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Matthew 6 and 19 through 34, and James 1, 2 through 8. Matthew 6 and 19 talks about serve where your heart is. That's what you will trust. And then it goes into talking about why worry. And then James 1 verses 2 through 8 talks about when you go through trials and challenges, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. So what I want to do now is give you a definition for trust. Give me the third slide. It should be the next one. Trust. Yeah, you got the right one. Trust is having complete confidence that someone will do what he says he will do because he has proven himself reliable and faithful. I'm gonna give you that definition again. This is not a dictionary definition. This is a definition based on all the concepts drawn into one. Trust is having complete confidence that someone will do what he says he will do because he has proven himself reliable and faithful. Okay. Now let me give you a very practical example. When I bought my new car, I had the red car out there and I had the Expedition out there. The Expedition was 10 years old. The red car was brand new. And so if I was going out of town, what would I do? Automatically just jump in that red car. Why? It has already proven himself. The red car proved, the Dodge proved that it's reliable. It's been faithful all these weeks that I've been driving it. I'm gone. Mm-hmm. But you and I both know that when you have an older car and you got to go even to let's just say New Orleans, just 2 hours away. Before you go, you'll go have that car checked. You'll make sure the oil is right. You'll check your tires. Why? Because there's something inside of you that says this car has been reliable, but it's not necessarily true. It's going to get me to New Orleans today. So let me make sure and check it. Mm-hmm. Why? because you understand that that car has been aged. Now I'm going somewhere with this, and therefore it may not be as reliable as it used to be.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so trust is having what? Complete confidence that someone will do what he says he will do because he has proven himself reliable and faithful. I hear spouses all the time say, I trust my mate. I know he gonna do right. And yet you sneaking and snooping and doing everything else. Oh, Lord. You're going through his phone. You're looking up under the mattress. You're going through everything. But you say you trust him or you trust her. Now, don't get me wrong. Trust can be broken. And when trust is broken, it has to be rebuilt. But trust can be broken. So let's bring this closer to home. Go to the next slide. And let's, When you don't have trust, there will be worry or anxiety. That's how you know trust is an issue. When you have anxiety or worry. Now, there's a difference between worry and concern. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference. Concern is something has happened and you do have some thoughts about it, but it's not overtaking you to the point you're in the place of worry or you have anxiety. How will you know if it's worry or anxiety? Check your emotional state. That's how you know. All right. Now, this becomes very important because you can get a phone call that's disturbing and you will have concern. But if before that day is over or the next day or two is over and you begin to say, God, you got this. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm all right with you. But if you're walking around, can't sleep, you're trying to figure out what to do, everything is just messed up, you have stepped into the area of anxiety or worry, and that means the trust factor has not kicked in yet.
Yeah. Now,
don't get me wrong. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes we get to worry and forget about the trust factor. But if you got the Holy Spirit in you, he will remind you. He will remind you. So let's get a definition now for the 3 levels of trust. 3 levels of trust. Next slide. 3 levels of trust. All right. 3 levels of trust. Number 1 is complete trust. Number 2 is assigned trust. And number 3 is reserved trust. Mm-hmm. 3. Okay. Now it's actually going to be 4 next week, but right now I'm just going to 3. What's complete trust? I have no shadow of doubt whatsoever. I know that I know. Watch this, because the person has proven, or the thing has proven itself reliable and faithful, that they will come through with what they promised to come through with. Now, I do have to say, let's use balance. There will be times where incidents occur where somebody didn't come through, but that doesn't mean they're not trustworthy or reliable or faithful. Just something happened on their end that could not be avoided. Mm-hmm. Here's where I have my problem. Somebody promises you, man, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Blah, 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 blah. And they have always proven themselves to do it. And one time they mess up and you didn't get a phone call. Mm. I knew I couldn't trust. No, you need to find out if something happened first. Don't throw your trust away just because one time an incident happened. And watch this. A trustworthy person, if they can't call you before, will eventually get to calling you and say, hey, I am so sorry this happened. It could not be averted, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. You don't lose trust in that kind of person. It's the kind of person who they tell you, man, I'll be there at 3 o'clock in the morning. And at 3 o'clock, you're still waiting. Now, this happened to me for real. 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 This is what you get your point. The very next time, it happened again. The next time, I just jumped in my car and left it in the airport and paid the price for the car. Why? They had proven they're not reliable. And they always had an excuse of why they couldn't do what they said they could do. They always had an excuse. When Duke came into my life and I said, hey, Duke, can you get me to the airport at this time? It was, yeah, I can get you there. And not one time did I ever have to wake Duke up and make sure he was ready. He was always up and ready to go. And if Duke couldn't do it, he was so trustworthy, he'll tell, I can't do it. That's called real, reliable trust. That's complete trust. I have complete trust in God. Yeah. Complete trust. I have no reservation. God will do what he said he's going to do. Sometimes it don't look like it, but he's going to do what he said he's going to do. What I've learned to do is stop looking at God to do it the way I expect it to get done.
Yeah.
I look at God expecting him just to do it.
Yeah.
Because God can go around circles on you and switch it and make evil produce good for you. Mm-hmm. Are you hearing me? I don't want to get into that discussion, but the reality of the matter is that sometimes, God, I need you right now to pay this bill. I need you to pay this bill. I need you to pay this bill. I need you to pay this bill. And God don't come through. Now all of a sudden you don't trust God when really the reality is God trying to get you out of that mess. Literally out of it. I can't call names. I can't call situations. But I know a person that the bank did something totally illegal, and so they called the note due, full payment. They did something wrong, and to cover up their mess. And so the person involved said, God ain't helped me, so I just got to move. I just got to move. God ain't helped me. I just got to move. And so they moved into a situation that was a lease option to purchase because they didn't have the credit to just move with a mortgage. So they moved with a lease option to buy. They get in the house, get all their furniture moved. They're all frustrated. And the bank calls them and says, we made a mistake. Okay, now you made a big mistake because now it's too late because they done moved. What are they going to do? Move back? Now they're obligated to the person they signed the lease with the option to buy, and the house too. They said, the person said, let me talk to somebody first, get some advice, and I'll call you back. So they called me. I said, this is what you do. Tell them they need to pay you for their mistake. Full payment of the house, or you're going to get a lawyer. And say they told the bank that exact same thing. Bank did not respond for 2 years. No response for 2 years. They called me back. They ain't respond. What should I do? I said, just be patient. God is up to something. And I knew I'd heard God. God was up to something. 2 years later, that particular bank, which happened to end up being a foreign bank, got into trouble with the United States banking system, and they had to release every mortgage they had or pay cash for the mortgage. What did that person do? I don't know what to do now. I said, sit on your tail and wait for your check. They had to give them the option. Take the deed or take the cash. I said, the property raggedy anyway. Take the cash. It ain't worth nothing. Take the cash. They took the cash and was able to buy the property they were leasing. Cash up front. And then told the owner, because I got cash, you ought to be able to give me a bigger discount. And they got it. See, that's complete trust. Now, what's assigned trust? Assigned trust is I trust you, but only in this area, this area, this area, this area. I don't trust you in this area.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to mess up somebody's religion. I trust you in this area. I trust you in this area. I trust you in this area. But I don't trust you in this area. That's kind of what we do to God. I trust you, God, when it comes to dealing with my spouse. I trust you, God, when it comes to dealing with my children. I don't trust you, God, when it comes to dealing with my finances. That's assigned trust. Now, your spouse may have done this to you, or you've done it to your spouse. Your spouse has proven himself reliable in certain areas, but they've proven themselves unreliable in certain other areas. That's a sign. I trust my husband to take care of my car, but I don't trust him in that kitchen. He'll burn the kitchen down. I don't trust him to cook, so I'm going to handle that. But I do trust him to take care of my car. I do trust him to take care of the house note. But I don't trust him in this. I don't trust him in that. Hey, that's assigned trust. Now, what is reserved trust? And we'll dig into that one later next week. Reserved trust is when you decide, I think I trust you, but I'm going to take a sit back and wait and see attitude before I really release my full trust and confidence in you. I'm reserving my trust, watch this, for a later time. And any trust that is not genuinely reserved the right way is really not trust at all, but doubt and unbelief. Yeah. So let's get to, well, I think I missed a slide. I want you to go back to, whoa, there's a slide missing off this thing. Yep, it's a slide missing. Oh, well, I want you to go back to the definition of trust. Go back to the definition. Go back one. Okay, you just lost me. Never mind. Yeah, go back. Go one more right there. Trust is having complete confidence that someone will do what he says he will do because he has proven himself reliable and faithful. I'm going to change the definition. I had a slide, but it disappeared. Trust is having complete confidence that God will do what he says he will do because he has proven himself reliable and faithful. Do you have complete confidence in God that he will do what he says he will do because he's reliable and he has been proven faithful? Do you have that kind of trust? Here's how to know if you don't have that kind of trust. If you lose your peace.
Yeah.
That's how you know, if you lose your peace. So what does Isaiah say? Isaiah says, trust in the Lord forever. Verse 3 says, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you. So if you've lost your trust, it's clear your mind is not on him. That's my teaching for finance today. I'm going to pass it back over. I hope you learned something. Notice I didn't ask you to give or anything. I'm talking about complete trust. That's connected to everything else.